I had to wrestle with your guidance with those kinds of mindset pieces because I projected judgment, your judgment onto me.
Okay, I am super excited to be here with my client, Tess Krebs, who is also the co-owner and founder of McKree Properties. And we are doing an Unstoppable Woman Spotlight with Tess because she has a very unique story that I think will really help people understand what it takes to scale, what it takes to grow a business, what being in the trenches is like. And I think you have a lot to share. I'm super proud of everything that you've accomplished. And I think the first thing to do here is for you to introduce yourself and McKree Properties and kind of set a tone for what your business is. And then we'll dive in with some Q&A.
Okay, great. My partner and I have a home renovation company in Louisville, Kentucky, and we have been renovating homes, single family dwellings primarily. We have a couple of larger long-term pieces of property that we keep, but everything's single family dwellings. And we buy them, we renovate them, and we sell them. And we've been doing it, like I said, for 14 years. We started just basically as the Tess and Rich show. And over the last 14 years, we've been evolving our business from just basically this little thing that we were doing to maximize some cash we had made into a company. And it's like, wow, which is really awesome. Right now, we have a team that works for us directly and goes to all of our projects. And then we also have a large group of subcontractors. And then we also have a private investment team, plus a real estate agent. So it's this wonderful, expansive group of people. I would say it's somewhere around 20 to 30 different people that kind of come and go within any given month in our company. It's fabulous.
So impressive.
What else can I tell you?
I think that's great. Let's do a little setting the stage. And why don't you tell people, how long have we been working together, Tess? Oh my God, it's been a few years now.
I think it's 3 years.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 years. Yeah.
So why don't you tell people, like, your business was solid when we started working together. It wasn't like you were like not doing well or not building a business.
Right.
Why don't you sort of explain where you were at and what some of the challenges were when we first started working together, and then maybe take people through some of the big things that you think, I might have a different impression, but that you think were really salient, like shifts either tactically or mentally, emotionally for growing the business. And then I have questions for you, because I think there are a lot of women in this situation, particularly, that have life partners, lovers, romantic partners,
right,
who are also partners with them in their business, and how that plays in. So that I'm just underhanded pitch, opening the door to talking about that, because I think it's a big aspect of some of the work that we've done lately, but also just in general.
Definitely.
How that's up for people. I think it would be helpful for people to hear your story around that. So,
okay, you guide me to that when you want me to go there.
Okay, sounds good.
Right,
where were you when we started together? How about that?
I had been working with another business coach for about 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years, and had really taken it from our company from being like I said, the Tess and Rich, which was fabulous, just loved all of that. And I think it was very important to develop that identity. And then it became clear that we needed to do basic groundwork and systems building, which was identifying our ideal client, putting everything on my books on QuickBooks instead of the binder that I was using, all sorts of those kinds of, yes.
The truth, right?
Yeah. Those kinds of things. Yes. But so this coach was wonderful in helping us systematize our business and really take some of the entrepreneurial habits, because I'm a lifelong entrepreneur, some of those habits, and helping me translate them into our company. I had been a chef caterer for 20 years prior to that moment. And then I got to a place in my coaching life where I really wanted to work with an individual coach, not in a group format, so that I could, my coach could understand me and our business much more intimately. And that's why I was attracted to you. One of the reasons why I was attracted to you, because you had that offering. And I feel like I came to you with really solid systems and a real sense of identity of who our company was. But then you just, that law of vibration, you just really helped me bring it up and identify the things that were keeping me small, that were keeping me from abundance. Because I feel like we had the team, we had the subcontractors. I have this kick-ass private investment strategy that whenever I explain it to bankers or investors, they're all, wow, where did you come up with that? So I came to you with a really great plate of food. But then you're like, but Tess, where's your food? Basically. And it's like Rich and I were not making the money that we wanted to make. And I think that, and we are in the process of claiming that goal, because you're like, Tess, you need to claim your desire. What do you and Rich desire? What kind of income do you desire? And so we've been working on that and realizing the different things that block us from achieving that. And it is a daily practice.
Isn't it though?
It's a daily practice. And so,
so let's give people a little bit of specificity here, because I think you've done a great job of like the overview, but like, let me just say, one of the things that was massively transformational for you in that first year that we worked together was when you got on board with, and this is my language and you can put your own language on it, no longer being someone who is trapped by outside circumstance. And the example of this that we worked with, like I'm putting it in terms of universal law there, like outside circumstance only traps you if you believe it can trap you. If you have a different perspective, then you do it differently. So my perspective was, Tess is trapped here based on the number of investors that she has. She has this brilliant strategy, but you had one investor, one main investor, who was holding you hostage and not giving you the kind of return on it. Like you had to give a higher return on investment than was working for your profitability plan. And I was outraged on your behalf and quietly outraged on your behalf, and came up with an immediate strategy for you, which you pushed back on a little bit, not intentionally, but you know, our subconscious is a very powerful agent in our lives. But then once you like chose it, went for it, everything opened up there. So can you speak to people around that? Because that's a specificity of like how you grew your business so that it's a plan taken further, bigger. Yeah.
To me, what you're talking about is identifying this block that towards abundance and believing that I'm worth, and believing that our company is worth existence. That's kind of very basic, but seriously, we had a handful of investors, and some of them were really solid. And you're right, we did have one investor that, because of their own circumstances, needed to ask for more.
At the time, you were trapped. You needed that money, and you were like,
I felt like if I didn't accept those conditions, then I would not have their money. And we're talking $160,000. That's a lot of money. And so that's a house and then renovation. That's a project. And so I felt like I was being controlled by that. And you're like saying, Tess, there's more, basically, there's more fish in the sea, Tess. I'm like, no, 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 there's only 6. And you're like, yes, Tess, there's more. Really? And I'm like, yeah, make a list of 50. I'm like, 50? This has become one of my favorite exercises. I do it myself, and then I tell other people, make a list of 50. 50 what? 50 people who could invest in your company. Are you kidding me? 50 people? And you're like, yeah. And so I did that. And then you said, okay, now Tess, call them. All of, start at the top and call them 3 a day. And I'm like, that means I have to call these people and I have to say, hi, I'm Tess. And would you like to give me some money? And it's just like this whole way that I was thinking about my worth, our company's worth, the value of that, actually, that I'm giving them an opportunity to make money. And this is an awesome thing.
Totally.
It is. And when I talk to my investors now, I get that, because they're telling me how they love working with our company, how they love being able to, put their money with McKree, and then they don't worry about it because they know that our track record is fabulous and that they love the values of our company. And so now, after pushing through, and there's one other thing I want to say, but after pushing through that thought that we were not worthy of this, and that there was not, and that I was basically being salesy and there was nothing that they were getting back. And so I was just groveling for money. That's all that judgment. But I was able to shove that aside. And I now absolutely love talking to investors. As a matter of fact, yesterday we were out at the park and I ran into 2 of them on bikes. And they were like, Tess, so I've got these wonderful relationships now.
I love it. And the confidence that you have now in your company is huge. And to translate or put my lens on it, she had to get some coaching around mindset about what this was that she was doing, what the process was of doing it. And then she had to be held to that standard and pushed, quite frankly, to go do it, because all her resistance was there. Knowing it is not enough. Actually doing it is what changed it for you, because those first few calls were uncomfortable. But then after that, you were like, oh my God, I get it now. And like, it is like a flipping of a switch. Like it's like the light bulb goes off and you can never go back now. Okay.
Right. But it's like you're at first I was like groping around in the dark room looking for the light switch, and it was really hard. But once you flip it on, it's like, oh, here I am. It's like this aha. But the thing I wanted to say is that for me, and I'm sure this is true of many, entrepreneurs, that I wasn't like this little bitty infant when I arrived. I arrived with a fully fledged business. And so when you're going, Tess, this is wrong with your company, I'm like, I really resisted, because I felt like you were judging me and that you were saying that I was way back at the very beginning. And so I had to wrestle with your guidance with those kinds of mindset pieces, because I projected your judgment onto me. And that was a piece there, because now it's so funny, because you can say these things about the story, my story, now, and I feel no twinge at all. And it's a huge mindset change.
Yeah,
yes.
That's huge.
Yes.
So let me kind of speak to that. So thank you for saying that it was projection, because it isn't judgment. It's not at all. You're trapped here. You're trapped in scarcity and you're trapped in low value. So let's change it. And here's the path. Okay. Because you've told me, okay, just as a frame, Tess came to me saying, I want this, right? I'm like, okay, let's get you that. Here's the way. Let's figure it. And that is now our conversation in each coaching call. Here's what I want. Here's where I'm blocked. Here's what I need to, what am I not seeing? Okay, I'll go do that, right? And then you come to me and now you're like, and I'll do that by then, right? The drill, and you're like, okay, I'm on it. And you keep closing the gap on how long it takes you to implement the new thing. And in the beginning, there was this place where the advice, if I hadn't figured it out myself already, I must be wrong, which is contrary to the idea of of course you're working with someone to help you move through this. You knew that enough, right? But that core underlying stuff, it's so insidious how it comes out. Yeah.
I feel like from my perception, that entrepreneurs tend to be leaders, that we're kind of born leaders. At least I was. And as a leader, and from kind of like the story of my life, I've got to be perfect all the time. And that need for perfection, collides with the desire to grow and be a student. And I'm also a forever student because I always want to learn. And so it's challenging to come face to face with the need to just relinquish your sense of perfection and delight in that moment of working with you in this case and going, oh, you're so right, because we're like delving in and discovering stuff together, and it's pretty groovy.
If you could give someone listening like a trick or a trigger or a way of thinking about this that really works for you, like that you've used to step out of that need to be perfect and stepping into that growth mindset, what would you share with someone?
Well, what pops into my head is that word desire. It's like, okay, I can demonize Amira and think she's judging me. I can think I'm never going to make it and pull on that old stuff. Or I can go, okay, what do I really want here? And what do I really believe? And it's like, I really want to be the most wonderful expression of myself that I possibly can be. And I want to, and part of that expression, or the ability to express that, is to make some money, because I really need that, because I love to travel, and I want to make films, and I need to have money to produce them. And so there's a lot of reasons for me to build my capital. And also I work really hard and we make a beautiful product, and I would like the financial return. And sometimes I get lost in my story, so it can bring me back. What was I saying?
Yeah. So you were saying that when you plug into desire, when you're trapped in that place of needing to be perfect,
yes,
and then wanting to sort of reject the coaching advice, you go back to desire. Like, what is it that I'm going at? My translation of that is, what is it that
right.
I'm going after? Is this going to serve me to go after this? And it helps you get out of those stories and back into the truth of like, this is what we're doing here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a really good example of this, and because we're in the global challenge of COVID-19, and over this period, about 2 weeks ago, I really came into, I don't know if I can do this. And I don't know if I can rebuild the company, because we've had certain losses and things like that, things like that. And I have to do some rudimentary rebuilding. And it's like, I don't know if I can do this, just it's not coming together perfectly. And, the plan that I had for 2020, I'm going to have to revamp it, all that kind of stuff going on in my head. And I was listening to your morning mindset piece that you do, on Napoleon Hill's
Think and Grow Rich.
Thank you. And you were talking about desire, and that you really have to have a burning hot desire. And listening to that simple concept reminded me that do I really want to just sit over here and feel like other people are judging me, or feel like I always have to be perfect, or not make the money I want? It's like, hell no. I want abundance. I want travel. I want vitality. I want joy. I want to have wonderful investors and a great team and all these things. And I cannot do that with limited thinking. And so it's that desire that I'm talking about, and the belief that if I take those positive actions towards those things, and simply believe that the desire alone is like a beacon. And Amira, these are things that I've known internally in my life, but I have to say that when I started working with you and studying the laws, that it's like I came to it. It's like everything came. Big hands. Everything came together, and it was manna from heaven for me, because it's like, yes, this makes sense. Totally. So.
I had the same experience when I
did
on to the awesome. Truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned team in that sort of in what you just said, and I'd love for you to talk about scarcity and abundance around team, because I feel like one of the things that you've been bringing up is like you want abundance, and you want abundance with everything in your life, your health, your vitality, your travel, the money from your business, your team, and you just threw that in there. And it's a you know, we can't scale businesses on our own. We need other people. We need team.
Hmm.
And can you talk about some of the challenges that you've had with sort of scarcity thinking around team, or stuff that's held you back around team, and then how you flip that to really seeing the bigger picture and the abundance that's here, and how that's played out for you?
Right. Well, part of team is in the building part. So we have an ops portion of our business and a building part of our business. And I am the CEO and visionary of the business as a whole. But then I am the head of the ops part, and my partner Rich is the head of building. And building, in some level, is simply getting enough hands on deck. So it's volume. And right now we do have to build volume. And go through the hiring process
And
and I
some
have
of
to
those
do
are
that again.
hires, and some of those are contractors, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
but yep, correct. But the thing I wanted to talk about was for me with team is hiring an assistant for me,
Mm.
because and I think that Rich struggles with this as well. It's just like trusting that someone else can do what you've done for so long and do it as well, or maybe even better
Shocking,
than
right?
you can. Yeah, than you can. And having them and delegating to them, another key word, delegating to them will actually make your life easier and more effective, and bring you towards those desires we were just talking about, because then I'm not doing the more tedious stuff. So I have hired over the last 3 years 2 different assistants, and each of them have been slightly different. And they've moved on. They move on for whatever reason, building their own business or whatever. But the process of hiring someone that balances me out and is able to, because it's like I need someone who can follow through. I am a huge high quick start. Ideas, but I need someone to go, okay, here's my ideas. Now I need you to go over and help implement them over there.
Yeah.
And, give me 5 things, find 10, give me 5 to pick from. And it is so delicious to have learned how to let go and trust that somebody else, trust that I can teach someone or guide someone or hire well, someone to do some of my work, that I don't need to do it all.
Yeah. It's been big. It's been
It's
really
it's
big.
been it's been huge. It's been huge. And another struggle that I have, I mean, you talked about partnership and partnering with your partner. Part of my challenge is not simply hiring the team. It's a challenge and it's an opportunity. But part of my challenge / opportunity is delegating to my partner, to Rich, and to
Not just
allowing,
delegating, but letting go, right? Like,
right,
yeah.
allowing, letting go, allowing him to be the partner that I need him to be. And that's something that you and I and Rich have been working, because he's a client of yours as well. And, he elevating, because it's like, I'm up here alone at the top. I don't have any help. And
Yeah.
part of that's his stuff. But part of it, unfortunately, is my stuff. I'm like,
Can we pause there for a second, Tess? Because I just need to give you a reflection here. Like, her face is like open, smiling. She's laughing at this. She's owning it. She's like giggling about it, because when about a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, actually, because this has been a pretty big, quick transition.
Yeah.
Tess said, was coming to me with this, like, I'm alone at the freaking top. This is crazy. I don't have a partner. I have an employee who is a partner on the name of the company, but not in the trenches. whether that was true or not, that's a whole
My
nother
perception.
story.
Yeah, right,
But that was
right.
her perception. And so they decided to do the next year of coaching together, and we did a VIP date together. And that was, that was fun. Okay.
Yes. Good word.
And, Tess was really up against this very issue. I need a partner, but I don't trust you. I need to do what you need to do. Like, how can I actually let go and hand off and give you real purview over this part of the business and let go? It was this push pull back and forth. Here's what I want, but I don't see the pathway without the business crashing and burning. And so we had to take it step by step and really be sensitive to that. I mean, that was real and true. It wasn't not true, but how do we get you to where you want to be instead of circling where you don't want to be? And in pretty short order, in hindsight, everyone wants it to happen in 2 days. It didn't happen in 2 days, but like in pretty short order, you now have a partner in your business. Can you speak to that?
I think I write notes so I can remember to come back. The first thing I want to say is that it's like, this is what I need, but I don't know how. Yeah. And you talked to that a lot about how choosing, again, what it is that you want, aka desire a partner. And I want him to be my partner. But I don't know how that's going to happen. And I don't trust, and all these things, all this doubt and worry and concern, and afraid that if I just give it over, because you're like, Tess, just do this. I'm like, no. And it's like, so I had to just do the first step, which was allow myself to truly want him to be my partner, want Rich to be my partner. And then I think it took like 6 weeks or so of maybe 2 months, whatever it was, a period of time where it felt like a real struggle and I didn't know. And I was like, what did I do? Sharing my coach with my partner. And we were working with you separately. It's not like I didn't get you by myself, but still. But sometime around 2 or 3 months into it, I began to feel this realization that he and I were speaking the same language. And it felt so good. I mean, we are still working on, it's been like 9 months, I guess, since we started working with you together. And we are still definitely evolving as partners together. But I do really feel it. I feel it with you. And I don't know if I'm truly answering your question, but I guess it's like,
you feel it with me or you feel it with Rich?
I feel it with Rich. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I feel it with Rich. And it's kind of like, you talk about not, you want to, I want that way up there. And it's like, but I can't see way up there. It's like, you're not supposed to. You start here and you walk up these steps. And I truly have felt that with this, because there was a lot of resistance and fear. And again, with this whole situation with COVID, I'm realizing that more than ever, I don't want to go back to some of the daily logistics that I had to do. And I have had to delegate because I can't go into the job site as much. And so I'm trusting more Rich and our crew to do things. So have had to step back out of necessity, and I'm seeing, they've got this. And Rich and I have also developed a way to dialogue with each other and call each other on when it's not working. Hey, that's not cool the way you're talking to me, or whatever, or please email Amira. I'm not going to coach you because I'm not your coach. Yeah. I'm not going to coach you.
So I think that's pretty, I love that you put the timeline there, 2 to 3 months. That's a pretty fantastically short period of time to transition. And not to say that those weren't some slogging through couple of months. Like, there was some big work, that emotional work that had to happen to be able to step forward and do the work. But you guys were both in it and committed to it. And I think that is a testament to how you both stepped forward and trusted the process. Okay.
Right.
Because you did need to trust in the guidance and in the shift, but you said something else. He's now like on the same page with you. Like he understands from the same perspective. And I think that, maybe I need to do an interview with Rich as well, because I think he would have a very interesting perspective on, like, he grew so quickly in a very short period of time. And it was really about him stepping into his desire as well and seeing the pathway to that. So without going too far off,
Right.
What would you say?
Right. What I was going to say is that you just reminded me that at first it's like, oh my God, you've opened a lid and unleashed this monster, because he's just like, I'm going to be in my manpower, blah, blah, blah. And that's why, okay, let's put the lid back on this, and then, but actually I feel like that was kind of like, how things, you kind of like go a little further and then you come back to the resting place or the place where you're going to go. And I feel like that, I'm sure that happened with me, that, you see it better when you see it on other people. And so, because now I feel like Rich has become, and why I feel good as a partner is that he seems solid, and he's claiming his life. And I feel, to pull it back, because we're talking about me and the evolution of me in our company, that I feel like that's what you've also helped me do, is really claim me and my life. Because not only am I building our business, but I'm also claiming I really want to travel. I really want to have my artistic voice. And these aren't directly related to McKree Properties, although they are, because they expand McKree. But
and you're starting to do videos now. I mean, there's
and I
there's
love
a
being
way
on
in
video.
which what's that?
I love being on video. It's so
I
much
know.
fun.
So one of the things that Tess has as her backstory is that she's an actor, and she's always been in the dramatic arts, and I don't know if always, but for a long time, and loves it. And one of the first things that I said to her is, you need to brand McKree. You need to set the company apart. Like, this is a McKree property home. This and to start branding it so that the local folks are like, I want to wait. I want a McKree property house. Like, when's the next one that you come? Right. And part of how you're doing that is that you're taking these beautiful videos now and putting them out regularly, branding your work. And I think that's a beautiful integration. Not, no, you're not putting on a play, but you're bringing in your artistic sensibilities and you're in those videos acting in a way, and it gives you a little bit of expression there.
Yes, it does. And since you're talking about marketing, I would have to say that as I look back over the last 3 years and working with you, that you have really helped directly and indirectly really elevate our marketing game. And it is paying off, literally paying off. I've always wanted a website, 14 years, and we just got one in January. Hello, but that happened.
And it's a great one.
It's very
we'll put
nice.
it in the show notes so people can go look.
Thank you very much. But I really believe that the existence of that website is because of your call to action for me, and the various other pieces of marketing, that the physical paper marketing, the social media marketing, all of that is a combination of really claiming my power and my desires as a person and as an entrepreneur, directly related to working with the laws and working with you and my mastermind, and also just the technical. Tess, where's your website? It's like every time I fill in my questionnaire every month for the coaching, what's your website? Oh, don't have one. So so I have one now, and now we're selling a house before the house was even on the market because of the website.
Yeah.
And because of my coach who said, Tess, go pre-sell that house. You got the
Right,
materials,
right.
go
You said,
pre-sell the
oh, this
house. You
person,
did.
yeah, in one of our calls, it was this offhand comment that she made. This person came, is interested. She was very like excited about it. I'm like, pick up the phone. Like,
Right.
do you want make an offer now? Like, this is like pre-sell it. You are like, you have, your plan is so aggressive. Okay. Like, let's get this house sold. Let's get this.
Yeah.
And you got great top dollar for it. It wasn't like you
Yes,
talked
we
about it,
did. We got
right?
over asking. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got over asking price, and that I'm like, I could feel myself putting up these little blocks. I can't do that. We don't do that. We don't let people see houses. They can't imagine it. But the difference is that the marketing that we've done, the agent had already seen our house, another one of our houses, and loved our stuff, and the buyer had went to the website and saw all of our stuff. So when I walked them into the house, they could imagine it because they could see it on the website. And it's like,
Love it.
hello.
It's so simple, except
It is.
like
It's
all
very
you've expressed it a couple times. Like, I was in resistance to this, and
Mhm.
it's not intellectual resistance. You understood conceptually the concept and like why it's important and all of that. But they're like, we have these internal resistances, and when you move through them, like, so let me just say it in a different way. Many entrepreneurs know what to do, but they're not doing it, right? This is a classic thing. And you've been steady, do it, and it's exponential now. So great.
I feel like I feel like it's really easy to see someone else and say, "Oh, you
Mhm.
know what is the thing that distinguishes you?" I was talking to my personal trainer the other day, talking yesterday about what distinguishes you as a trainer, blah, 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 blah. I was giving this wonderful coaching, but it's the challenge of looking at yourself and your own stuff. It's just nearsightedness. It's hard to see as much, which is, why you need to work with other people. But um, the ego, my ego gets in the way because I can't see it, and I can't hear it, because I knew that this person, this buyer, was looking at the house. I was talking to her on Squarespace and stuff like that, but my ego was saying, you have to do what you always do. You can't change because you just can't do that. And I don't have this. Why can't I change? Well, it's this little inner conversation. But when I outed my conversation to you, you called me on it.
Mhm.
And I think that that's one of the things that can keep us restrained or trapped at a certain level, and that working with others really helps you, and you have to be willing, but helps you really identify those moments of ego oppression, and it's like, let that girl out of the box. So
Awesome. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we wrap it up? All of this has been great. Thank you for sharing so generously and honestly also.
I guess probably the most momentous, if not now, when, is the thing that I want to say.
Mm.
And I had a real call to action in my life 7 or 8 years ago when I lost a lot of family members not all at once, but over a period of a year and a half. And it really put a different lens on me and my life. And I realized really what it means, if not now, when. So it's now. And you don't have to have a big event, although we're all having a big event, but and this is possibly an opportunity. It's like, what do I want? And I ask myself that every day. And it's, what do I want today? What do I want this week? What do I want? And recommitting to that is vital. So now is what I want to say. Now.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
juicy, Tess. Because it's true. If not now, when? It's like
Right.
everything, the point of inflection is now. And if you
Right.
put off till tomorrow, if you say, that's a great idea, or I want to do that, or I'll decide to do that, but it happens next week or tomorrow or 3 months from now, or I'll do that when X, Y, and Z is done. Do that after COVID. I'll do that after my partner steps up in this fashion. I'll do that after my contractor shows up in this way. We delay our good. We put things off. And it's how we've been programmed, but
Mhm.
it's not actually how you step into success and your greatness and the life that you truly want.
Yes,
So thank
true.
you for bringing that to the
You're welcome.
conversation. And thank you again so much for not only being my client, but doing this interview, because you are truly unstoppable. And it's been absolutely my honor to see you step forward each and every time we
Thank you.
interact. So. Okay, so after my interview with Tess, we had talked a lot in the interview about partnership and being in partnership with her life partner and her business partner and what that was all about. And we decided to go ahead and have a few Q&As with Rich, who is also a client of mine, and get his perspective. So one of the things that Tess and I talked about was when you guys first came to me together for that VIP day, and how she was looking for a partner, even though you
Mhm.
were in all on paper a partner, in the business as a partner, all of that. She was looking for a different level of commitment and partnership from you, and
Mhm.
we had like amazing and quick growth on that front. And I wanted to get it from your perspective. Like, how did it work for you to hear that from your business partner, that she wanted more of you showing up in the business?
Yeah, this wasn't a surprise. Tess has always been one to express how she feels, and but there was a lot of frustration around that in regards to a slow building frustration of, and I definitely could see it. And so when she announced that to you, it wasn't like this was a surprise. Actually, it was like, this is good. Let's get this on the table. Let's air some of this stuff. And I had no ego involved in it in that regards, because, like I said, it was just like I knew there was I felt it as well.
So, what do you think it took on your part to really step into that full partnership role and take some things off her plate? And can you tell us a little bit from your perspective about what that process was like for you? Like, because there were, it was a little bit of a roller coaster. There was some ups and downs there.
Sure. Yeah, it was just the understanding. One, she just once more the clarity, and let's just like get this on the table situation. And then we mapped it out and just kind of like through, well, what would it look like if you did more of this and you released Tess releases that by communicating with you. We also understood that it wasn't all just me. It was a give and take. It's like, well, give Rich the reins to do this, and it's like, I don't trust him to do this.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
So let's
go
go to
for it.
something you just said. Like, she needed to trust you with
Yes.
this. How did you build trust? Like, how did you, like, what can you give some very specific? I think it's helpful for people to hear, whether it's partners that are life partners in business together or not life partners in business. Like, how do you build trust with your partner? So, from your perspective, how did you do that?
Well, you start out small, and it's a little thing, and it's communication for starters, a big time. I find that I don't talk enough, and I've always thought she talks too much. So I kind of uh, started going, it's like, okay, I'm going to express exactly what I'm thinking and not really saying. And by doing that, she started gaining more confidence with me in regards to, yeah, he's not going to lose his shit and start, you know, going down the road we don't need to go. Um, so, and part of it was dealing with contractors and things like this. It's just like, uh, yeah.
So, one of the things that Tess mentioned was that she felt like she had like that you guys were speaking the same language. Like after you started coaching with me and doing this work, that she and the two of you had a common language. And I think that's a really big piece. Like from my perspective as the coach, one of the things that we started off with was like expression, communication, really just speaking what was in your head, because that was a little bit suppressed. And then having a common language, I thought that was really interesting how Tess framed it, like a common language to discuss the business
Mhm.
and going forward. So do you have the same perspective on that, do you feel like you have a common language, or is that just her perception?
I it's an unspoken language a lot of times, and that's just being around each other for so long. And I feel that it was just it's part of the process of understanding her. I mean, I just sometimes it's just we're both perceptive of each other, and it can be an eyebrow raised, and that's all we need to say. And then that's just like, but that's, and then we're both eager students, and so I knew a lot of construction background, and she was always craving knowledge and education, and she's a house geek, and so and she would ask me, she says, why are we doing it like this, and why is that? And so I would explain to her, and I enjoyed teaching her, and as well as I find it fun to instruct people or whatever on something I know. So yeah,
Nice.
it came easy.
Okay. And did it change? Like she was talking about, now that you guys are coaching together, that you have a common sort of mindset, perspective, language. Is that the case for you? I don't want to put words into your mouth, but that's what I was. Not that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just like we feed off one another, and I even because in school I would say, hey, it's high school and junior high is like, hey, uh, I'll just copy this, and so it irked her that I can't believe you cheated in school. I can't believe you had ever. And it's like I did whatever I could do. I was a straight C student, and I'm damn proud of it. But then I went to college, and I took on a different outlook. So when it came to doing these assignments and things like this, it's like I would at first I was just like I'm going to copy off some of yours, just or maybe better yet, you can fill mine out for me. Oh, she was just like no, no. I was like I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing with you. But that was just like a common thing. We could grow with it because of you, and we just like we would talk about it. It's like, well, Mara says this, and what do you think? What do you feel about this?
How do you think that's affected your ability to run your business together?
It's helped drastically, and then that is one of those things of what the clarity is. It's always about clarity and letting go of your shit, and you always come to the table with something, and sometimes you know it, and sometimes you don't. You know, it's just it doesn't hit just one sphere. It's like, oh yeah, you can hit your goals a little bit better. It's like, well, yeah, you can, but you can also hit many other goals as well. And it's sometimes you realize it's like that's probably from your actually being suddenly being awoke.
So let's talk about this. This will be my last question for you, Rich, but
Right.
it's a big one because Tess said in her conversation with me, she felt like she had started claiming her life and you had started claiming your life. And
Yes.
that was like one of the big, at least to me, that was one of the big
Yeah.
things I heard from her. And you just said like it's awoken something in you. Can you just land the plane for us today in this interview and talk a little bit more about what that means to you, or like give us some granularity, some like specifics around it?
I would call myself flatline in a lot of ways in emotion. That can be helpful and that can be hurtful. And it makes me fun to be around because I'm pretty even keeled. Unfortunately, that makes me not slowly disconnect over a period of time. And so I found that I was missing. It's like I enjoy a few things, and that's pretty much it. And so I was finding myself even boring and drab. Meanwhile, Tess, and she's always going somewhere doing something, and I always like she always seems to find a way to have a good time, and I always seem to find a way to bitch, at myself. And so I'm like, okay, so by this coaching is just like, okay, so what do you like, Rich? What motivates you? How do you want to be? How do you want to disconnect from this entrepreneur, this McKree, this thing? Because that's all you have right now. And it's like you've slowly gone down a rabbit hole of like, this is only you. And it's not. This is just your baby. You and Tess have built something and made something. And slowly you got lost in it. She did too, but she has a different life, and it's just like, copy her. That's what I would kept. It's like, when in doubt, copy her. Do something, But, I started finding things that I liked. It's like, before all this, before you knew Tess, before you just did your own thing, what did you find that you enjoyed to do in life? And it's like, well, I like to fish. It's like, fish, pick up the damn pole and go.
To me, you seem pretty lit up in terms of both, there's an ebb and a flow with McKree, but you're like in
Sure.
it. And then you also have found some real, not fishing, but some other things that you're like psyched about.
Oh yeah.
Going for, like, you're lit up, you're live, you're engaged, and
Yeah.
feels like your energy has really shifted around that. Has that helped the relationship, by the way? I'm curious about that. Has your...
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. I mean, it is when you have an inner glow, it radiates outward. And it's just it puts a pep in your step. I found that I like business. And I'm not talking entrepreneur. I like business in general. I just love the business world. I got a degree in business. I might as well like it. But I found that,
like it. Of course you like it.
But I like crunching numbers, and suddenly, so I found I was interested in the stock market, and started playing with that. It's like, and education, and I love education.
Cool.
So,
well, thank you, Rich, so
Sure.
much for
Sure.
spending the time with us and giving us your perspective. And I love it. I love having you in the mix here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Sure. See you.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us and being part of the Unstoppable Woman movement. We have got a ton of free resources for scaling your business at theunstoppablewoman.com/free stuff. And you can find that link in the description below. So go ahead and check those out. And we'd also love your help in getting our message out to more and more women. If you'd be willing to share this video with all the unstoppable women in your life, that would be fantastic. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Reviews, likes, and comments are greatly appreciated. We go in and read them all. So thank you for those. And thanks for listening, and be unstoppable.